The July Criterion 50% off sale is finally upon us, so I made my way out to my local Barnes & Noble to pick up what I wanted, and oh boy, I got some really, really good stuff. How's it going, fellas and files? This is Dominic from Film Overload, the channel where we talk about movies, pop culture, and everything in between. And today, as you just saw from the opening, I went to my local Barnes & Noble and picked up a lot of Criterions. And yes, my wallet is indeed crying in my corner right now. Now, as you can see here, this is a very, very tall pile, and I just really am super excited when it comes to Criterion shopping every July and November. This sale only happens twice a year, like I said, July and November. And the Criterion Collection is really a company that is dedicated to preserving some of the world's greatest movies. And it's really opened up my eyes to a whole new world of cinema. And I really appreciate this company for really exposing me to all these other films from not only just the United States, but other countries from across the world. And you guys better believe that I will be making another one of these videos when we get to November. But for now, I'm going to show you what I got in my Criterion haul for the month of July. Now, I will be showing you guys what I got via the Criterion's spine number. For those of you who don't know, the Criterion Collection is numbered on the side of each box, and that number is to represent the order in which the Criterion Collection restored each of these films. For example, their very first film, being Grand Illusion, has a number 1 on the side of its box, and their newest film, which is La Bamba, has the number, I think, 1193, I think, is their newest spine number, which is the newest film that they are releasing come November. So I will be showing you guys in order what I got via the spine number. The next film on my list was a film that I just recently saw about 5 months ago, and I really did enjoy it a lot. So when the sale came around, once again, I just had to pick it up, and that is Spine 39 Tokyo Drifter. This is a film by Seijun Suzuki. I think I butchered that first name really bad, so forgive me on that. But Tokyo Drifter is a really, really good film. A really quick action thriller film with some really good characters, a solid story, and some great action sequences. I really dug this film, and I just had to pick it up. The next film on my list is a film that I just saw once again for the first time about 3.5 months ago. It's a film that I really dug a lot, and it has a really great soundtrack and a great opening song, and that is 3:10 to Yuma, directed by Delmer Daves. I really enjoyed this film. Glenn Ford is a fantastic character in this movie. He plays a really great character. Just the story overall in this film is just really, really solid. A man who's trying to do the right thing, and he's kind of cautious because of the character that he is playing next to, and this movie is just really, really good. I really dug this film, and once again, Glenn Ford just amazing, and I'm really excited to see the 2K restoration of this film because I really enjoyed this Western, a genre that we rarely get anymore, so this was a really big breath of fresh air when I saw this film on the Criterion channel. Now, I have never seen Humphrey Bogart so vulnerable in a role before, and I didn't think much of this movie when I first saw it, but after a rewatch about 2 weeks ago, I was just absolutely taken back by this film, and when the sale rolled around, I just had to get it, and that is Spine 810 in a Lonely Place. Humphrey Bogart plays a screenwriter who is just on the verge of a breaking point. And if you've seen this film before, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but this film is just so good. It's one of Humphrey Bogart's, I would say, his more underrated films. I think this film kind of gets buried by his other films like Maltese Falcon, Key Largo, Casablanca, Dark Passage, etc. But this movie is just really, really good, and I just really dug the story. Again, just Humphrey is great. Gloria Graham is just amazing next to him, and I really just dug this film a second time around, and it really made me think about a lot of things in my life that I never really thought of before. So I just had to pick up this movie as well. Now, this next film, I just saw last year for the first time, and I have to say, I really did enjoy this film a lot. It's funny, it's charming, but also very dark and surreal at the same time, and that is Spy 936, Bull Durham. I did not expect to feel so many emotions while watching a sports movie the way I did when I watched Bull Durham. I really enjoyed this film. Also, this movie just came out of nowhere. It was on my recommendations, and so I watched it, and it was like, wow, just the journey that these characters go through. Susan Sarandon is just fantastic. Tim Robbins is in this. Yes, he's a great character as well. Kevin Costner as well, just amazing trio, and they really provided the punch in this film and really made it what it was. And I'm a pretty solid baseball fan myself, so those three plus baseball, I thought this is going to be so much fun, and it turned out being so much fun. And I just had to add it to my collection because this movie is just really, really solid. Now, this next film that I bought is a very interesting look at the city of New York through the eyes of a young person, and that is Spy 941, Smithereens. This movie was a really solid film, a movie that I watched for the first time last year, and I really dug it. The narrative is a bit loose, but I do not mind that for this particular film because when you follow this main character, you really go through this journey through her and with her, and you really get to see how she tries to make ends meet, and there's all sorts of different ways she tries to make her rent money. You can tell this is a very personal film from this director, and I just really enjoyed her take on the city of New York through the eyes of this character. I believe her name was Ren. Very solid film, and one that I did not expect liking as much as I did. This next group of films is a trilogy that I bought. I did buy one box set this July, and it's a trilogy of films I had just recently seen about 2 weeks ago for the first time, and I just absolutely loved all three of these films. And the way the director made these films, I really do appreciate because they really tell some interesting stories, and that is Spy 990 through 992, and it is the Coker Trilogy, directed by Abbas Kiarostami. I think I butchered that name also, so forgive me. But Abbas, his trilogy is just so interesting. A very vivid look at just life in general, and through the eyes of these characters. I really did enjoy this trilogy a lot. For those of you who have seen this trilogy, you know what kind of happens throughout the course of the three films, and you really understand what's going on because there's a much bigger picture after you watch the first film from this trilogy. But this trilogy is just really, really solid. And once again, a very personal trilogy I felt while watching. My favorite film in this trilogy is Where is the Friend's House? I thought that was the best, but the other two are just really good as well. And Abbas's trilogy here is just absolutely surreal and really, really visually stunning as well. So I had to pick this up and add it to my collection because I think this trilogy is just really, really something special. Now, this next film is a film that I really appreciate, especially after reading the history behind it, and that is Spy 966, Detour. This film was literally made for nothing, and it's only 69 minutes long. And for a film being that short, I really enjoyed it. It's a nice little spy, like thriller kind of noir film that I really, really dug. I thought the characters were really good for the amount of time that we were given with them, which is not very long. But the movie really plays out really nicely, and the ending was like a really surprising one for me, at least. So I had to pick this movie up, and also that box art is just super, super cool. I just love the Criterion box art, and this is really a cool case as well. But the movie itself is also really, really solid. The 1980s was the peak of teenage films. The Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, 16 Candles, and the list goes on and on and on. But the Criterion Collection picked one of those films from the 80s and added it to their collection, and that is Spying 1075, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I just saw this film, I kid you not, no more than a week ago, and this film is just super, super fun. I've seen a lot of teenage coming of age films like this, and all of them share the same kind of backbone in my opinion, but all of them have different things to it. And Fast Times at Ridgemont High is one of those films that just really goes above and beyond, in my honest opinion. A group of characters who are just doing stupid teenage things towards the end of the school year. And this cast is just absolutely crazy. We have a young Sean Penn, we have Jennifer Jason Leigh, Phoebe Cates, Forrest Whitaker, Anthony Edwards, Eric Stoltz, all these really, really good actors when they were very, very, very young. And seeing all of them in this movie was just really, really cool. And I really loved the chaos that this movie presents. And that's the reason why I really loved it. And I just wanted to pick it up and add it to my collection. All right, we are down to the final 4 films that I have for you guys today. And this next film that I'm about to show you is a film that I have seen the original and I've seen the remake. And I feel about the same way towards both of them. But that is Spine 1078's Nightmare Alley. I really enjoyed this film. I enjoyed the original, and I also enjoy the remake by Del Toro. I really liked the original just a little bit slightly more because I just really enjoyed the cast a little bit more in this film. This story is just crazy. It's crazy. It's dark. There's a lot of twists and turns in this movie. I really dug just the atmosphere and just the eerie, ominous style in this film as well. Tyrone Power is just really solid in this film as well. I really dug his performance and just everything that happens to him and his character in this film. It was just very fascinating, but also very unsettling. And I love this box art and especially what's inside of it. I really do enjoy what you get, these really awesome cards that you get as well from the movie, which I thought was really, really cool to see as well. So once again, Nightmare Alley is just a really solid film and one that I had to get in my collection eventually. This next film that I'm about to show you was a film, once again, that I just saw about 2 weeks ago for the first time, and that is Johnny 2's Throwdown. This film is a very good, solid judo film, but it's also a film about friendship and the concept of friendship as well, and how friendship can still be just so powerful through really hard times. And Throwdown is a great example of just, picking yourself back up and finishing out the race. And Throwdown was just one of those films that I just really enjoyed. I know I keep saying all these films are solid, but it's really true. All these films are just so solid, and Throwdown is another great example. This next film that I'm about to show you is a film that came out of nowhere once again, and I really just enjoyed the overall concept of this film, and that is Stanley Kwan's Rogue. Hey everybody, future me. In this video, I say that this movie by Stanley Kwan is called Rogue. Well, I am greatly sorry because the movie is actually called Rouge. I somehow messed that up. I don't know how I did, but I did. So just a heads up, the movie is called Rouge, not Rogue, which is Spine 1129. This film came out of nowhere for me. I really dug the premise. I enjoyed the story a lot. The character development was just really fantastic. The visual representation of what's going on in the movie was also done very, very well. And I just loved the eerie kind of thriller kind of element and style in this film. I really dug it. And a splash of romance in there, which I really dug as well. And this film was really, really good, I thought. And Stanley Kwan really delivered something very original and very eye-opening, in my honest opinion. All right, we have made it to the very last film that I purchased in the sale this past weekend. And this is a movie that I saw like about a year and a half ago. And when they announced it, I'm like, yes, I have to pick this up when it finally drops, and that is Spine 1180, and that is the Ridley Scott film Thelma and Louise. Ridley Scott is just a really solid director. I love a lot of his films, and so when you pair Ridley Scott with Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis, who deliver some fantastic performances themselves, it was a slam dunk for me when I first watched this movie. I loved it. I loved the two characters in this film. I loved just the crazy, chaotic nature of this film. And it's a really good crime kind of thriller, and I just really loved the style that Ridley Scott went with in this movie. And once again, Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon in this film, just absolutely fantastic, great chemistry, and through Scott's direction was just a knock out of the park. So I loved this movie, and it's a great way to finish off this collection video. Overall, the July Criterion sale was a big success for me. I picked up a lot of really great cinema, and cinema that I love and have come to love now since watching these films, and I am so excited to add these to my Criterion collection, and I thought this was a very, very successful sale. Now I'm very curious now. What did you guys buy? Did you guys buy anything during the July Criterion sale? If you did, let me know in the comments what you guys bought. I would love to read what you guys bought. And if you want to see more content and more content like this, be sure to hit that like button. Also hit subscribe while you're at it and turn on the post notifications so that you guys can get notified every single time I post a video. You can follow me on Letterboxd, which is right here. I post all of my movie reviews on Letterboxd as it helps me keep track of movies that I have watched, movies that I haven't watched, and movies that I will watch. And I think you guys would benefit greatly from this app and this website if you are indeed lovers of cinema like myself. As always, guys, happy movie watching. Take care.